Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Today is day number 4 after I've landed back from the diaspora. Guys, I would like to share with you 4 things that I've learned so far in the village. Right? The first one is about yourself as a member of the village. Yourself as a participant in the village. Guys, we don't live by ourselves. We belong to a community. So what I'm trying to emphasize on this first point is that the moment you decide to relocate back home, you are going back to the village or you are going back to the rural area where there is a community and you are part and parcel of that community. Therefore, you will also be expected to take part in whatever activities are happening within the community. As an example, number 1, we live in the village where there's a village leader, the sub-book, and his committee, right? At times, we may be required to attend a village meeting. Of course, yes, these meetings are not conducted on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. You can have one meeting in 2 weeks. You can even have just one meeting in 3 weeks, right? But the point remains that as a villager, you are required to take part in whatever activities that will be happening in the village, right? Besides attending those village meetings, you need to keep in mind also that there can be some development projects. As an example, if there's a road that is being constructed, you will also be expected to take part in the construction work, right? Of course, yes, you cannot go there in person if you'd like to, if you don't like to. Like myself, I can even delegate someone who can then go and work with others on my behalf. That's fine still, as long as your name is in the book to say this person participated in the construction of the road. That's fine. So that's the thing, guys. You need to make sure that you maintain community relationships. We don't live in isolation. We live among people and we need to take part in whatever activities that will be happening within the village. The second lesson that I've learned, guys, is that when it comes to the currency, when it comes to money, right? The South African rand and the US dollar, and how you can spend that money in our motherland, Zimbabwe. Guys, let's truth be told, right? All I can say is that the South African rand is more powerful when you are spending it in South Africa and not in Zimbabwe. So you guys, when you are coming back home, you need to be much well prepared, knowing that the main currency in power, right, in as far as our motherland is concerned, for now, is the US dollar. So you can do much more using a US dollar than using a South African rand when you are in Zimbabwe. Well, when you are in South Africa, that's fine. The rand is quite powerful in that country. You can do much more. But when you come this side, guys, I'm telling you the truth. This side, make sure that you have enough South African rands that we then have to convert into US dollars for you to be able to do so much. So that's the second lesson that I've learned. On that one, we've been also debating in the past with those guys whom I came together with, right? When we go to the border, and some guys were to buy SIM cards, and those guys had to change a few of their South African rands into US dollars, and that's when all hell broke loose, right? People were already complaining that, hey, we're already losing money here after they've just changed a few South African rands into US dollars. So I learned a lesson that way. Of course, yes, I didn't bother to do any currency conversion on the way, right? So that's the thing, guys. Currency, you need to be very careful when it comes to currency. The US dollar at the present moment is having all the weight. So that's the second lesson that I've learned in this journey of mine, which I'm showcasing with you guys. Then moving on to lesson number 3, guys. Lesson number 3, it's about schools, right? It depends upon the raw area where you'll be relocating to. If I can take as an example my raw area, you will find out that schools are quite a bit far, right? Schools are quite a bit far. As an example, when we went to school, right, some few years ago, we used to take a walk of about 3.5 k's, 4 k's to get to the school, right? And there's never been any more schools built to close that gap, meaning that even the kids who are going to school right now, whether they're going to primary school or a secondary school, they are expected to take a walk of the same distance, which is 3.5 k's, 4 k's, for them to get to the school, right? So on this one, guys, I'm emphasizing that it all depends upon the future that you are preparing for your children, right? It's all about the future that you are preparing for your children. As an example, it will be a pity for me to have my grade 2 child having to walk 4 kilometers on foot to go to school, right? Of course, yes, there are other learners, there are other kids in the rural areas who are walking that distance, but you know, it's a matter of having to move from point A to point B. I wouldn't have joy in having my grade 2 child who is just 7 years old having to walk the very same distance that I myself as a father walked to get to school, right? So that's one other consideration that you guys need to keep in mind if you decide to relocate back home. Some rural homes are located a bit far away from schools, and also on that one, you need to keep in mind that no matter how good your child is at school, there's need to supplement with extra lessons as well, right? So all these factors need to be taken into account before one can finally make his or her decision to relocate back home. Of course, yes, having a rural home is quite good in the sense that you can use the place for projects, right? You can use the place for projects and you won't lose that much. In this case now, I'm talking to those people who are staying in rural areas. As an example, in my case, where I'm not in Seke, I'm not in Dema, I'm not in Domboshawa, right? Because to someone who is staying in Domboshawa, you can have your residence and you can have your project at the same place. And your kids can also commute from that very same residence to the school, right? But in this case, taking into account the long distance that the kids or the learners have to walk to get to school, you can then use the rural area just for the projects. Then you can secure an accommodation where your children can go to school. Then as time progresses, you know, we all have to come from humble beginnings. As time progresses, you can then move from point A to point B, whereby you can then secure a large accommodation which can then accommodate both your family members, that's your immediate family, and your projects together, right? So I'm trying to give light to somebody here who may be in the same dilemma, who may be facing the same challenge as regards to what can I do when I go back home. I have kids who have to go to school, and I don't want my kids to be walking 7 kilometers, 9 kilometers to the school, right? As long as you are having projects that are up and running within that rural village or rural place, you can be able to do much so that you can finance the rentals, the school fees, and whatsoever for your kids who may be staying in an urban area or a peri-urban area whilst you're making a move to develop yourself. You know, life is all about moving from point A to point B. Life is all about keeping on walking, you know, like a toddler, like a child. When a child is born, you have to crawl first. As time goes on, you have to stand still up. From there, you have to start taking a walk. From there, you have to run. You know, when they say day na na day, it's a step. One step ahead, you'll be getting somewhere. So guys, that's lesson number 3 that I've learned in these past 4 days after I've just landed here in the village in Zimbabwe. The next lesson that I've learned is on food. The cost of food and how cheap it is in the rural areas as compared to having to buy food from either South Africa or other countries into the country. Guys, let me start by talking about buying groceries. When you're coming from the diaspora, coming back home, you know, a long way back, we used to have a tendency of buying all the groceries that one would need to use at home. But nowadays, honestly speaking, groceries are also cheap in Zimbabwe. You can buy quite a lot of groceries in Zimbabwe, and not just in towns. Even if you go to the growth points, even if you go to the rural stores, right, you can easily buy good groceries at an affordable price. So to those who would like to come back home, guys, it's not a matter of having to carry a lot of luggage, groceries, because if you try to calculate how much will you be spending on the transport costs by bus all the way from South Africa, you will find out that you'll be spending a lot of money just on transport costs alone. And that money for transport costs alone, when you come this side, you can be able to buy a lot of groceries. Guys, it's quite cold here today. You can see I'm having a jersey and I'm having a jacket on top. It's quite a freezing day today, and it's a cloudy day also, right? So that's it, guys, when it comes to groceries. Even nowadays, people, they no longer buy groceries mostly in Harare to say I'm taking this grocery back to the rural areas. Like someone who is staying around Musami area can buy his or her groceries at Musami Cross, right? A lot of guys staying this side of Mabika, Shigogodza, even Mnamba area and Mahoa area, they can buy the groceries from Shigogodza. You can still get groceries at a good cost within the rural environment. So that's another lesson that I've learned, guys, over these first few days that I'm just here in the rural areas. Then when it comes also to basic necessities, or basic requirements. You know, in the villages, like in the country, our staple food is maize. Maize remains our staple food for a number of years, meaning that almost every household, people will always have access to maize meal so that they can cook sadza, right? So you find out that even maize itself right now, taking into account that many families, they manage to produce a good yield. Maize is not that expensive. It's quite, I can say it's cheap, or it's affordable. I'd rather use the word affordable. Like in my place right now, a bucket of maize, they normally call it a bagidi, right? Bagidi, a bucket of maize is going for $4, right? $4. You can take your bucket of maize to the grinding mill to make meal. In some places, it's just for 2 buckets, you just pay $1, right? So with $10, you can have 2 buckets of meal, right? So that's how life is, guys, in the rural areas, and particularly in my village where I'm staying, because like I said earlier on, I'm showcasing about my own journey. I'm showcasing about my own personal story, a story that has never been shared by someone else. So that's all, guys. These are the 4 lessons that I've learned in the past 4 days after I landed here in the village. Guys, if you have watched this video up until now, I'm kindly asking you to subscribe to this channel so that this channel can grow big. Please kindly subscribe to this channel so that the channel can grow big. And I promise to keep on sharing with you guys a lot of raw content. Anything to do with raw, I'm here, guys, to keep on sharing that content with you. So the more you keep on subscribing to this channel, the more you keep on even sharing these videos, I know that this page can be able to grow big. Thank you so much, guys, for your love and support. It's time to sign out. Goodbye.